Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Press Box. I'm Timmy,
And I'm Steven.
and we are here to answer the call. Happy Halloween, guys! It is Thursday, October 31st. It's Halloween. We've got college games tonight. I wasn't too impressed with those, and we got Thursday night football and Halloween. Did you see the new jerseys the Jets are gonna rock out on Halloween?
I did not.
They're all blacked out and kind of be all spooky looking. I don't know. But
All that just to lose a football game.
so, well, you're not supposed to spoil it. You're not supposed to spoil the pick yet.
Oh, my bad. Look, if anybody for real thought I was going to pick the Jets to win, then we got other issues we need to talk about.
Well, that's not even our segment right now. We were having Halloween opening segment. We've got college games to talk about. We just spoiled all the fun. There's the headline right there. There goes the headline. We have some college games. This week in terms of compared to more recent weeks, there's not as many the key matchups in the college world this week. Bama's on a bye, LSU's on a bye. Georgia plays Florida. Not as many super marquee matchups. But
Really not that many games in general.
We found a few that, could be, interesting. And we were talking about it throughout the week. Steven joined me yesterday, and I talked about a few on Tuesday's show. But, we're going to pick a few of those games. Actually, we're going to pick all the games that we talked about for sure. And a few more. And then we're going to talk about the Jets and the Texans tonight, guys. Hey, so here's a list of college teams that are already bowl bound. Like, they're already bowl eligible. Sam Houston, Boise State, Ohio State, Tulane, Ole Miss, James Madison, Bama, Colorado, Army, Navy, Memphis, Miami, Pitt, Duke, Clemson, SMU, Indiana, Penn State, Oregon, Illinois, BYU, Iowa State, K-State, UNLV, Texas, Missouri, Tennessee, Texas A&M, LSU, Georgia, Louisiana Raging Cajuns, Notre Dame, and Washington. So those are all bowl eligible teams that if they don't make the playoffs, they will still for sure have a bowl game. I want to get your take on something real quick, and this just popped into my head. So Notre Dame, so even if they win out the rest of the season, the highest seed that they could reach is 5th because they're not in a conference.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, because they're they're classified as independent.
Wow.
So the highest, they could literally finish undefeated the rest of the season, have more wins than all the Big 12, the Big 10, the ACC, the SEC. They could have more wins than all of them, and they could still only, the highest that they'll ever finish this seeding wise is 5th.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Also, on the ones that are not in the Power 5, so let's say a Boise State, if they're not ranked 5th, they will be seeded where they're ranked in the playoffs. So just because, the Mountain West, if Boise State wins it, which they probably will, I looked at their schedule and it's pretty favorable moving forward. So like let's say that Boise State wins the Mountain West conference title, but in the college playoff bracket that they only get like 12th. Then they'll be the like 12th in the AP poll. They would only be 12th in the seeding for the playoffs. So then that means they would have to go on the road for somebody that didn't even win a conference.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy, guys. All right.
Yep.
So speaking of the college games, we got them. First up is Ole Miss and Arkansas. It's in Fayetteville, guys. It's a home game for the Hogs. Tough environment. Ole Miss. I'm actually gonna pick the home team here. I think if Arkansas shows what they did last week in this game, I think they come out on top here. So I like
Yeah.
I like Arkansas.
Yeah, I like Arkansas at home. I mean, they've been playing pretty decent. Not as up and down as they were at the beginning of the season. They're at home. Should be a good game.
It should be. I think that's a early 11 o'clock kickoff. So you ain't got nothing better to do. There's a couple of good games on the noon kickoff. So next up we got Wisconsin versus Iowa. Who you got?
Where's it at?
It's at Iowa.
I'm going Iowa at home.
Yeah.
I picked Wisconsin last week, and I feel like they let me down a little bit.
That is fair. That is very fair. I too have Iowa at home because, like I said, Iowa is a tough place to play. I look for them. This is probably going to be, one of those more traditional Big Ten matchups that I've been waiting to see. I think this is a very physical game. And as long as Iowa can continue running the ball, they should get the win. So
yeah,
we got two agreements already, guys. We got two agreements already. Next up we have USC and Washington. Ooh, we talked about this one a little bit yesterday. It's at Washington.
Oh.
So it's at the Husky Stadium, whatever that's called.
Yeah. I know as soon as I pick USC, it's gonna burn me.
I don't know. I think they're the better team in this matchup.
Yeah, they are the better team. That's the issue. But I'm gonna go Washington at home.
Oh, okay.
Just because I don't know, just that gut feeling that USC is gonna let me down this week.
Hey, they say trust your gut. All right. I know I made a few picks. That I was like, I was kind of feeling it, but I didn't. My gut is actually telling me USC here. I know it's on the road, but these two teams are really familiar with each other, and I think USC has a slight edge in coaching, so I think Lincoln Riley will have his troops ready to go. I like the Trojans to get back on track and finally show everybody what they're fully capable of. So we have Virginia Tech and Syracuse. Oh, a home game for the Orange. I sat here and I talked about it. They got Virginia Tech has Bashal Tootin. He's kind of grown on me as a running back this season. He has 12 rushing touchdowns. He's a big physical back. I mean, he has a slight breakaway speed, but he's really just gonna pound the rock in between the tackles. And I actually like Virginia Tech on the road here.
Yeah, they got the better running back. I'm gonna go Virginia Tech as well. I just think Syracuse just isn't as good.
And after that, after that tough loss last week to Pitt, I know it's a home game, but I just think that does something for the mentality of players. And I just think that's going to start a trend here with Syracuse, and they might lose. They could lose this one, and I don't know who they play next week, but they could lose next week. Also, Kyle McCord, he transferred from Ohio State to Syracuse just so that way he could be the number one quarterback.
Yep.
And look, I mean, it was working until it didn't. But now you're starting to face those tougher ACC matchups, and so I like Virginia Tech on the road. And
Yep.
a few weeks back, I mean, shoot, they took Miami to a nail biter, and so like even the games that they lose, it seems to always be a close game. So Virginia Tech for both of us. Minnesota and Illinois. This is a game that we kind of talked a little bit about yesterday, and it's a Big Ten matchup. Illinois is ranked 24th. They're hanging on to that top 25. I really feel that I don't know. Let's hear your take first, because I want to piece together mine.
Mm. Who did Minnesota took somebody to the wire last week? Who was it?
I thought they won, didn't they? But
Did Minnesota win last week?
I'm not sure. I'm not looking at it.
Oh yeah, they blew out Maryland. For some reason, I thought they played somebody else. Illinois got blew out by Oregon last week.
Yeah. I mean,
this is tough for me because they're both, pretty decent teams.
right. It's a home game for Illinois. Minnesota's been, kind of on a nice little streak. And so, yeah, this is a tough one for me too.
I'm going to go Illinois here simply for the fact that they're at home. They're going to want to avenge that blowout loss from last week. So I think they'll play with a chip on their shoulder a little bit.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I'm actually going to go Minnesota here. I know it's on the road, but Minnesota's been playing really good. They blew out Maryland last week. And Illinois might still be thinking about that loss a little bit that they suffered last week against Oregon, and maybe they kind of start out on out the gate a little slow. I look for this to be a physical game, though. I think both teams need to establish the run, get the run game going, and try to keep the other team's offense off the field for sure. Well, if you don't have anything to do on a Friday night, it's not a marquee matchup, but you can see one of the best players in the nation. San Diego State takes on Boise State.
Yeah, it's a Boise State win. San Diego State, it does not even compare, not even in the same stratosphere as Boise State. So it's a Boise State win.
Yeah, I would like to try to disagree on this one for the sake of disagreeing, but I can't. It's at home. 2, it's against San Diego State. Like he said, 3, and probably more importantly, it wouldn't matter if this was a home game or away game. Last I checked, they still have Ashton Jeanty at running back, and as long as he's their running back, and as long as he's healthy, and as long as he's still putting up 100 to 200 yards a game, Boise State's probably going to come out with the win. So I like Boise State at home. All blue field on a Friday night, November 1st. Oh man, I'm going to have to watch this game now. I'm going to have to watch it. I am going to have to watch. I don't care if I have to stay up. I will watch this game. Actually, I'll probably record it because.
Yeah, I'm going to have to record it. I'll be at work.
So this one made the list just because I needed another game to talk about. Really, I just wanted another game to talk about. Um, Ideally, I already know who he's going to pick. I don't even have to. I don't even have to get his take, but we'll get his take. We have Duke versus Miami. Yeah, we got.
I'm gonna go Duke here.
Get out. No, you're not.
No, I'm not. It's
No, you're not.
it's Miami. Like, come on now.
It's a home game for Miami at that. So, anyway, Duke versus Miami. Yeah, he's got Miami. I've got Miami. I got Miami because they got Cam Ward, okay? And, everybody's been talking about Travis Hunter, and everybody's been talking about Ashton Genty. Everybody's been talking about Shadur Sanders. Well, Cam Ward's just kind of been quietly putting a season together over here down in Miami. And he's actually one of the Heisman favorites. I know he's probably cracked the top 4 or 5 Heisman in the Heisman now. So it'll be interesting. I think Duke is going to try to compete with them. And maybe it's close for a little bit. Maybe it's close in the beginning. But once Cam Ward gets warmed up, it's going to be all Miami. And it's probably going to be a blowout, if I'm just being real. But like I said, Miami's undefeated. They're in the top 5. I could not talk about a top 5 team that's playing this week. So, Duke fans, it's nothing to hang your hat on. You're losing to one of the best teams in the nation right now. So, but if they do, just know it's going to be interesting on Monday. This one isn't anything that really sparks a lot of interest. But when I was kind of looking at it, so Northwestern was only favored by 1 on the road versus Purdue. And so then that kind of got me thinking, like, maybe we should talk about it. So, Northwestern at Purdue. Northwestern is favored by 1. I actually like Purdue here. I know that sounds a little crazy, but I like Purdue here. They took Illinois a couple weeks back to overtime and lost 50-49. So, obviously, Northwestern isn't as a high caliber team as Illinois is. And, I mean, Purdue was able to hang with them. So, I kind of actually like Purdue here in this one.
Yeah, I like Purdue. I feel like they're definitely the better team out of the two. Like you said, they took Illinois to the wire, lost that. Northwestern is not on the same level as Illinois, so give me Purdue here.
Well, we got America's Cinderella team, Vanderbilt, taking on the Auburn Tigers. It's at Auburn. It is at Auburn. And I think they're favored by 3. I'm not 100% sure. But
let's see.
Auburn's a tough place to play. They also have probably one of my more favorite college entrances. They got the War Eagle that flies in. It's a nice little scene in Auburn. So I actually like Vanderbilt here. They beat Bama. They beat Kentucky. They took Texas. I mean, they gave Texas all they could handle. They took Texas. They gave Texas all that they could handle. Vandy almost survived last week with a win against Texas. I like Vanderbilt here. I just think that Auburn, they're still struggling to figure out what quarterback they want. They still don't know which quarterback gives them the best chance at winning. And that offense has kind of struggled a little bit this year. So, Vandy on the road for the win.
Yeah, I like Vandy too. They played some high quality competition and have done really well against that high quality competition. Auburn's not on the same level as any of the teams they have beat. So, Give me Vanderbilt here.
Vandy, oh Vandy, don't let us down. Well, this next one here is mainly because Oregon's the number one team in the nation, and it's kind of hard to not talk about them when you're doing a segment. They're the number one team in the nation. They're going to Ann Arbor. They're going to Michigan. What do you got, bud? What do you got?
Yeah, give me Oregon. It's not even close. Like, Michigan is not the same team as last year. They're not having a good season. This is an Oregon win through and through.
I think Oregon as well. Obviously, Oregon's the number one team in the nation, and they're the number one team in the nation for a reason. Their offense is elite. Their defense is actually better than what most people realize. They do allow some points, but I think they allow points because that offense is so high powered and they kind of score a little too quick at times. And so that defense is probably a little tired because the offense just is like, oh, we're going to go score in a minute and 30 seconds. Oh, we're going to go score in 45 seconds. So I think Oregon's defense plays a little bit more than the average. But Oregon's offense is way too. Now the one deciding factor is it is in Ann Arbor, it is in Michigan. Michigan is another tough place to play, but Dillon Gabriel, he's a fifth-year senior, a lot of veteran. Dan Lanning, the Oregon coach, he's a great coach. So I like Oregon. Give me Oregon. Go Ducks. Go Duckies. Quack, quack. I was trying to get a reaction out of him. I failed. Next up, we have the Gators. Florida Gators taking on the Georgia Bulldogs. So this is actually going to be broadcasted on ESPN for like the first time since like 1995. It's always been on CBS. This game has between Florida and Georgia, and
Did not.
And now it's going to be on ESPN, and Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit is going to be the commentators. So I'm actually excited. I'm actually excited for this one because those are probably my two favorite commentators in college football. So I'm probably going to try to watch a little bit of this one.
Oh, sure.
It's at Georgia. In the Gators.
Yeah, this is going to be a Georgia win. They're the better team. Florida been kind of up and down this year, more down so. And it's at home for Georgia, so it's a tough place to go in and play.
Georgia is a tough place. It is probably one of the toughest in the nation. If Graham Mertz, is it Mertz? The starting quarterback for Florida, he got hurt, and so now DJ Lagway, a freshman, is in. If Graham was still the starting quarterback, I actually probably would lean a little bit toward Florida on this one. But the fact that it's a freshman on the road at Georgia, Georgia's going to be playing a little ticked off. All right, they're going to be playing a little PO'd because they suffered that loss to Bama, and now they're not number one, and now like they've got to reclimb the ranks. I look for Georgia to come out strong and just from start to finish just be full throttle on that gas. So I like Georgia here. I like Georgia.
Yep.
Georgia. Oh. Well, next up we got a Big 12 matchup. Wow. That's kind of crazy. It's the first Big 12 matchup of the day. And this one is kind of, maybe this could be a game. It's Texas Tech versus Iowa State. It is at Iowa State. Obviously they're undefeated. How much longer can their undefeated season go? I think at home they come out with a win against Texas Tech. I do think it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people realize or think that it could be. Texas Tech, is actually kind of a sneaky good team. So, but it is a home game for Iowa. I do like Iowa State here.
Yeah, I like Iowa State as well. Undefeated at home. That streak will continue at least through this week.
Okay, okay. Anything else?
Nope. I mean, Texas Tech has been having a decent season. This isn't the game that Iowa State loses.
Well, and right now it's that magical time of the year where there's only a few undefeated teams left. I'm sorry, I got to root for the undefeated teams here, until they show me something different. So, and I mean Iowa State, Indiana, BYU, I'm rooting for all those guys because it's teams that we haven't seen be very successful through the years. So, um, I like Iowa State. He likes Iowa State. America probably likes Iowa State. All right. It'll be really interesting to see America's vote on Saturday, but my guess is they're going to be going for Iowa State as well. It is hard not to root for this team right now. Their coach has, their coach is a great coach. He's turned this program around. Indiana goes to Michigan State. I I like Indiana. They're undefeated. They're obviously proven that they belong in the top tier teams right now, like the top 10 for sure. So look for Indiana to get the ball moving quickly. I expect them to run the ball, set up play action, and this is a one that they're going to go to Michigan State and they're going to remind everybody who Indiana is and what Indiana football is all about.
Yeah, I like Indiana in this one as well. They're undefeated. I mean, Michigan State, I don't know, maybe in a different lifetime. Indiana's the better team. They're undefeated. Like, there's just not much else to say besides that.
Interesting. I think we're going to disagree on a couple of these next ones. I was just looking at it. We've only disagreed on 2 of them so far. I think we're going to be disagreeing on it.
Yeah, I mean, the matchups are some of them are so lopsided that it's just clear who's going to win.
Next up, we have Texas A&M versus South Carolina. I want you to start. I've already got mine wrote down. I can,
Texas A&M against South Carolina?
At South Carolina, yep.
Texas A&M has been good.
They've been real good. They beat LSU last week. Or did LSU beat themselves? That's really the question.
Give me Texas A&M here.
Okay.
They're the better team. I mean, they beat LSU. South Carolina's not on the level of LSU. I realize it's a home game for South Carolina, but Texas A&M has the recipe for success in this one.
Well, this is where we disagree. I think Texas A&M might be looking past South Carolina because they have either next week or in 2 weeks they have a big matchup with Texas. Big playoff implications on the line. It's at South Carolina. South Carolina, they beat Bama, or they took Bama to the wire. Um, I think that this is going to be a game that South Carolina squeezes by. I don't think they're going to, win by more than a touchdown. I think it's going to be something along the lines like South Carolina doesn't have anything to lose right here. And they're like, well, we might make a bowl, we might not. Let's just see what we can do, and they go for a 2-point conversion at the end or something and win by a point or two. So I'm actually going to take South Carolina for an upset. And honestly, I think Texas A&M is only favored by 2.5. So they're not even favored by that much. But I like South Carolina here. Got to mix it up a little bit, guys. We gotta have a little disagreements here. People like that. Y'all like that, right? I like a good disagreement every now and again. Maybe, and who knows? I mean, one of us is going to be right, one of us is going to be wrong. And that's what I like. Next up is undefeated Pitt taking on SMU at SMU. Ba-da-na-na-na. Ba-da-na-na-na. And, this is a game that I think I talked about it on Tuesday's show. This is a kind of a which side of the ball is going to win. Is it going to be Pitt's defense or is it going to be SMU's offense?
SMU has been playing really well, obviously.
So it's Pitt, though.
Yeah, I know. That's the issue. I'm going to take Pitt here. I think that defense is too much for SMU's offense. But I could very easily see it going the other way, too. It's kind of one of those, it's a coin toss for me.
Interesting. So you're going with Pitt.
Yep.
For the win.
Yep.
Final answer.
Yes.
Hey, I just had to make sure, I just had to make sure. I'm actually going to go with SMU here. I think SMU's offense is going to be a little bit more powered. Obviously SMU's offense is a more faster, higher pace than what Syracuse ran last week. Pitt's defense is good. I just think SMU's offense has a slight edge. They are also at home. So, I like SMU in this one. I like it. So, before we get to the heavyweight showdown of the week, I do have one more game I want to talk about. And it's really not a game that's going to be intriguing. But, okay, it's North Carolina versus Florida State. A Mac Brown coach team has never beaten Florida State. He is 0-11 versus Florida State all time, but UNC is favored at Florida State this weekend by 2.5. Okay. Florida State's offense has been historically bad. Scoring offense, 132nd. Total offense, 131st. Rushing offense, 130th. Passing offense, 101st. This is out of 133 FBS teams. So they're basically almost dead last in scoring. Florida State is the only team in college football to not score over 21 points in a game.
That's crazy.
And this is why I picked this one. Because it's a tale of two terrible teams this year. North Carolina started out on a roll. They won like 3 straight, then they dropped like 4 in a row. And they got back in the winning column last week. But Florida State's just struggled all season, historically bad. Mac Brown's never beat Florida State, 0-11. So, a little controversy, a little hype. Can Mac Brown finally get a win at Florida State?
Yes. Yes. If he doesn't, there's something wrong with him. Florida State is terrible. Absolutely 100% terrible. North Carolina should just have their way with them. I mean,
well, North Carolina should have had their way with a few teams this year and still managed to lose, but, James Madison being one of them.
Yeah. Well,
James Madison gave him that BTA treatment. I like North Carolina in this one as well. Florida State's historically bad. I just read you the stats. I know it's a home game, but if I was a Florida State fan, I definitely would want to show up for this one. So it may not be as loud as it typically is. So go ahead and give me North Carolina on the road.
Yeah. I mean.
All right, guys. It is the main event. It's actually the kickoff game this week, which really sucks. But that's a whole different story. And I've been ranting about it all week. This should be a primetime game. Give us Ohio State versus Penn State in prime time, and it'd be a whiteout game. But Fox says no. We got to have a noon kickoff. So we get to start our day with some good football. We get to start our day with the game of the week. Ohio State goes to Penn State. Battle of the super heavyweights right here. It's going to be a showdown. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
You don't sound so.
Well.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
And I'm going to read you some stats. Coach A is a career record 62-9 with a bowl record of 2-4. Coach B is 119-54 with a bowl record of 6-6. Who would you rather have as your coach?
I mean, B.
B, okay. B is Penn State coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Penn State here. Ohio State, just as good as they are, I don't think they're quite on the level of Penn State. They almost lost to Nebraska last week. Yeah, I'm going to take Penn State in this one.
Final answer.
Yep.
Well, hold on, because I got a different opinion. I'm going Ohio State, guys. Drew Alar, whatever his last name is. Drew is questionable for the game for Penn State. If he doesn't go at quarterback, that changes Penn State's whole offense and how they have to do things. Ohio State, they're coming with a chip on their shoulder. They lost to Oregon. So I think they're going to come with something to really show and be like, hey, all these people have forgotten about us. I know Will Howard's going to be fired up. He grew up a Penn State fan. He wanted to go there his whole life. and they told him he wasn't good enough. I think he just walks into Penn State and he has that chip on his shoulder. And I think with the fact that we don't know if the starting quarterback for Penn State is going to play or not, I think Ohio State comes in. It's going to be a physical game. Honestly, this could be a 2017 ball game. Okay, not going to be super scoring, I don't think, but I could be wrong. Ohio State does have a high-powered offense. So, to all the Ohio State fans, I'm backing Ryan Day. He doesn't lose many games to teams not named Michigan. And I actually like Ryan Day leading Ohio State to Penn State, coming out with a win. Coming out of there with that win. So that's what I got. That's what I got.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. All right, guys. It is time for last call. It is our last call of the day. We have the Texans, the Houston Texans, tonight going against the New York Football Jets. Jets need a win really bad right now. They need a win really bad. They've lost 5 straight games, guys. Devontae Adams was supposed to be the missing piece to the Jets offense. Well, you know what the Jets offense needed, and he hasn't been. He has struggled since joining the team. It's not all on him though. It's not all his fault. I think Father Time is catching up to Aaron Rodgers. We've been talking about it. Aaron's kind of been missing some throws, not getting the ball out as quick as he normally would. Also, guys, the O-line has been bad. They're not doing a good job blocking for Aaron Rodgers. They're not giving him time to throw the ball. Play calling has kind of been boring and dull, you see some of these other teams and they use motions, pre-snap motion, and Aaron doesn't like that. So Jets offense doesn't run any motion. So it's kind of been boring and dull. On the flip side, the Texans need a win to stay on top of the AFC South. That might be tough as Stephon Diggs is out for the season. Nico Collins has been banged up. C.J. Stroud has appeared to have taken a step back from last season. Not a big step, but a little step. And so it's going to be real interesting. Now, I will say one thing that the Houston Texans do, and they do really well, that is get pressure on quarterbacks. So we got the tale of two tapes. Bad offensive line, good defensive line. This could be disastrous. This could be disastrous for the Jets tonight.
Yeah, the Jets aren't playing well. They haven't played well pretty much all season. I realize the Texans don't have Stephon Diggs or Nico Collins, but what they do have is Joe Mixon, who's been playing really well since he returned. This should be a Texans win. With as good as that defensive line for Houston is, and as bad as the Jets O-line is, that defense should have its way with Aaron Rodgers. And I look for the Texans to come out and pounce early, get ahead, rear their ears back on defense, go after Rodgers, and then run the ball with Mixon.
Huh. Yeah. That's a good take. I like that. So we got the Texans and we got the Jets. Teams seem like they were going in opposite directions. It's a home game for the Jets. I don't know how many Jets fans are going to be there, but it's a home game for the Jets. I kind of feel like the Jets need to do something. Yankees just lost in the World Series 4-1 to the Dodgers. I think they need to bring some kind of excitement back for New York, New Jersey area. It's a short week. It's a home game for the Jets. What am I getting at? What am I getting at? Yep, I'm doing it, guys. I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to pick Aaron Rodgers again because I'm going to tell you something. Even if I get this game wrong, it's a win-win for me. If I'm right, I made the right call. If I'm wrong, I get to roast Aaron Rodgers. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the Jets here. I'm gonna go ahead and take those Jets. Give me Aaron and the Jets.
Okay.
Hey, like I said, it's a win-win. It's like if I pick the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And they lose, well, then I get to roast them. But if they win,
right.
Hey, I was right. So the win-win situation for me in this one. I'm taking the Jets. I actually like them at home. I think Devontae will be involved a little bit more, but I really think that Garrett Wilson's going to have himself a game against that Texans secondary. So,
yep.
I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see come tomorrow morning who was right and who was wrong in that. We'll be previewing or we'll be recapping Thursday Night Football and giving you the rest of our NFL picks plus whatever else comes up between now and then. It's about 23 hours away from now, so a lot can happen in the world of football in 23 hours. So, well, you guys have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Whether it's your first time or it's your last time, we appreciate you, and we couldn't do this without you. I'm Timmy, and we answer the call. We'll see you next time.